Greetings. Hello, friends at home and friends in the Zoom room. Welcome back to this next edition of Make a Play subscription box with the Quinn Street Project. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Our theme for this month is imagining change, and we're just going to get right into it and get started with a check-in. So the check-in is a two-parter today. It's first just how are you feeling? And then second, what is a positive change that you are seeing in the world that inspires you? And it can be something quite small, it can be something big, just anything that's a positive change that you see in the world that's inspiring to you. I am happy to model. Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Tiara. I use she and they pronouns. Today, I'm feeling like a little nervous because I'm leading today, and but good overall, excited. And a change that I am inspired by that's positive in the world is I'm seeing more and more people, especially led by indigenous communities, who are standing up to fossil fuel companies saying we don't want so much of that happening anymore. We want more clean, renewable energy because that won't contribute to climate change. And then we can all live happily and safely in the world. So that's a positive change that I am inspired by. And who would like to go next? Go ahead, Miss Melissa.
Hi, hello friends. My name is Miss Melissa, she, her pronouns, and I feel tingly today. And one thing that is really inspiring me is more and more humans being brave and being able to learn for themselves and learn from other people how animals are affecting our society and our culture, and more vegan products being accepted and being really fun for people to try. That makes me really happy and is a positive change. Who wants to go next? Zena.
Hi, my name is Miss Anna, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm feeling medium today. And I was actually going to say the same thing as Miss Melissa, which is why I wanted to go right after her, because not everyone would know this, but Miss Melissa inspired me a long time ago to start choosing to cook and eat vegan food, which is, for those who may not be familiar with the word vegan, it means that you're not eating meat products, but it also means that you're not eating things that come from animals, that animals have to expend energy and maybe discomfort to provide. And it makes me feel better to live my life supporting the rights of animals, because I really, really love animals. I have two in the house who are sleeping on my bed because that's their prerogative. So I'm seeing more people do that. I'm seeing more people going out of their comfort zone to volunteer to help protect animals and to volunteer for all kinds of nonprofits and different places to help humans and animals and the planet. And I love that. So I'm going to throw it to whomever else is ready. Yay, Miss Madison.
I'm Miss Madison. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm feeling a little bit tight today. So I'm really excited to do some drama because that usually loosens me up a little. And a positive change that really inspires me is I feel like people in cultures with a lot of power are slowly starting to listen more and kind of educate themselves on cultures and peoples that don't have as much power in our society or historically have not had as much power. And so I think that we're all becoming a little bit more, it's going to take time, but a little bit more empathetic. And yeah, that's a change that inspires me. Mr. Brian.
My name is Mr. Brian. Can you hear me all okay? Okay. I use he, him pronouns, and I am feeling, word of the day, kids, stoked for today's lesson. So look that up, or don't. I feel stoked either way. And I feel inspired by, I lost it. No, I feel inspired by all the different voices that are being represented more and more. I'm hearing more and more stories. I'm seeing more and more stories and opportunities for stories and cultures and that I had not seen when I was growing up. And now more and more they're coming out and having a chance to share and just being brought out into the world. And that makes me excited. So, yeah. And enough of that. Miss Kira, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Absolutely. I receive it. And our friends at home, that check-in is for you too. So if you want to, you can like pause the video and actually check in with yourself. How are you feeling today? And is there a positive change in the world, big or small, that you're inspired by? You can take that moment for yourself and then again, press play when you're ready to join us. But I do want to highlight, in addition to that word stoked, which thank you, Mr. Brian, for saying, Miss Madison used this word empathetic that I think is a great word for today. Empathetic. When someone is empathetic, they have empathy. When you have empathy, if that's not a word that we already know, that means that you can try to see and understand things from someone else's perspective, including their feelings. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you share them. You might disagree, you might have a different experience, but it's trying to see how another person is feeling or sharing. And so when we're thinking about imagining change, we might not all imagine the same things. We might not all have the same perspective, but what is exciting about our check-in and then the work that we're going to keep doing is that we get to see where other people are coming from and see what we think about it. Cool, cool. All right, we're gonna keep going. Let's move it now into a warm up. We're gonna start with some breaths. Oh, with some really, really, really good breaths because our body needs oxygen. So you can go ahead, like we talk about in QSP, being an actor neutral. If that's not familiar to you, that I would say that that's kind of being ready to go, either standing or sitting with a nice, strong spine, gently, not like straight, like with a lot of tension, but just gently with a nice, long spine. And I invite you, if you want to, for this breathing, you could close your eyes if you wanted to. You could also maybe find a spot on the floor or in front of you. That's just a place to gently rest your eyes if you don't want to close your eyes. So you can go ahead and make that choice, and I'll lead us in a couple breaths. I'm going to choose to close my eyes. And I'm going to take a deep breath in through my nose, out through my mouth. Another one in through my nose, down into my belly, out through my mouth. One more, deep in through my nose, filling my belly up like a balloon. And I'm gonna hold it for a couple seconds for 3, 2, 1, and then all out. And if you've been resting your eyes or closing them, I invite you to bring your eyes gently back to the screen with all of us. See how that felt in your body. And now we're going to do a couple stretches. So I'm going to start, I took that moment and I'm like, my shoulders are tense. So I'm going to roll my shoulders back. And folks can join me in that if they want to. I'm going to move it forward. And I'm actually curious, I want this to be a shared warm up. I want to ask for my teacher friends, what's another stretch that your body might really like right now that you could lead us in? Does anyone have another stretch to give us? Miss Madison.
If you you want to be sitting up nice and tall, and if you interlace, my body really wants this. You interlace your fingers behind your back. I can't really show you.
Like this
And you're gonna put your thumbs on your spine, and you're just gonna pull down all the way until you're stretching your chest. And in yoga, we call this a heart opener, and I really like that, and I feel like that's something I really need right now. And breathe.
Thank you, Miss Madison. That feels great. Does someone have another stretch to give that would feel good in their body? Go, Miss Anna.
I, similar to Miss Madison, want to reach my hands up, and you can grab your hands or not, and just go side to side a little bit and open up my rib cage. That always feels really nice to me. Sometimes we get really tense in this muscle right here, our wing muscles, and we don't stretch them that much. So we want to stretch our wings out.
I love that. Thank you. And I saw Miss Melissa. It looked like you had a stretch for us next.
Yes. I'm gonna take my scarf off so I can show you. So I want to do some head rolls because my neck is feeling all sorts of sleepy weirdness. So for these neck rolls, you want to take your chin to your chest, but don't like lean down. Chin to your chest, just make sure the back of your neck is still long. Your ear to your shoulder, but don't bring your shoulder up, just as far as it'll go. Nose to the ceiling, drop that head back. Breathe in through your nose, ear to your shoulder. Keep that shoulder down. And chin to your chest. And then go the other way. Ear to your shoulder. You should feel that stretch right here. If you want to make that stretch go a little bit further, you can take that arm down and imagine there's a big puppy next to you, and just pet the big puppy. Pet the big puppy. There you go. Good. And then nose to the ceiling and ear to your shoulder. And when you pet the big puppy, you're petting from forward to back. And pet the big puppy. There you go. Good job, friends.
Beautiful. And Mr. Brian, finish us off.
You know, my shoulders are really tight right now, so I'm just going to ask for some shoulder rolls backwards here. Some shoulder rolls. Just a few, some big ones, just as big as you can make them. And just forward. If you hear him popping, that's just me right now, popping over here. Thank you. Whew.
Ooh, that felt amazing. Thank you, friends. And, you know, artist friends at home, if there's something else you want to do for your body, pause the video, move it out, shake it out, stretch it out however you want to, and then just press play when you want to rejoin us. Cool, cool. And that was actually a warm up to this next activity we're going to do called mirroring. So, you know, mirroring is something that we do in theater for a couple reasons. One, because it's a way to move our body and warm up and it's fun. Two, it builds ensemble because we have to pay attention to each other, listen to each other. Also, maybe a way of building empathy for another person. And then three, because sometimes we play characters who don't move like us. So when we get to move in a different way than we normally do, that can help, you know, build our skills as an actor. So let's talk about, you know, I just explained that, but let's go through what mirroring is. So Miss Melissa, will you help me out? So if I'm the leader of the mirror and I start doing something, then Miss Melissa, or, you know, whoever's following you at home has to try their best to do what I am doing. Like they're my reflection in the mirror. Cool, thank you. You can let that go, Miss Melissa. So we're just gonna take, we're gonna go around and do a couple rounds of that, again, as a way of building ensemble, listening, and also getting prepared for some other kind of movement that we're gonna be doing today, all right? Can I, actually, Miss Melissa, could you be our first leader? And, you know, you can, you know, lead for a while, and then when, you know, when you feel like you've had enough, just go ahead and throw it to another person.
Hey, I'm excited. Take it away, Mr. Brian.
And Miss Madison.
Miss Anna.
And back to Miss Tiara.
All right, and we're done. Thank you so much, friends. Anyone want to say anything about how that was for them? A word or two about what doing that together was like?
Felt like I got to give a little peek inside everybody's brain, which was really fun.
Thank you, Miss Madison.
I had a feeling when I was doing my movement of insecurity, but then as I was watching other people's movement, I realized, especially Miss Anna, because she came after me, I was like, but I'm not feeling any judgment towards her, and probably no one else was feeling any judgment towards my movement.
Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, that can definitely be a feeling we feel when we're on the spot. But yeah, we are QSP. We're here to support each other, not judge each other. All that. You all know that already. Cool. So we're gonna move right along to our next activity, which is we're gonna make a choreo poem. When we hear this phrase choreo poem, the first part, choreo. Does any of my teacher friends, does that make you think of anything?
I'm gonna call on Miss Madison because she did a whole movement series on our YouTube channel and talked about this word. So I'm gonna call on her to explain it the way she did in her movement videos.
Choreo is short for a bigger word, choreography. You know, in theater, we always got to shorten those fancy words. And choreography, choreography is just we're setting a movement on something, on anything. It could be dance, or it could be just the way that we're moving our bodies together or individually.
Beautiful. So that's that word choreo. So if we're going to make a choreo poem, do any of my teacher friends or my friends at home, do you have a guess on what we might be doing? How might it be different from like a regular poem? Yeah, Miss Melissa.
Maybe we add movement to poetry.
You nailed it. We are going to be adding some movement to some poetry, another way to make theater. This exercise is inspired by the fact that, you know, if you're viewing this in March, we are in Women's History Month. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take like a little like trip into history to learn a little bit about why we're doing this exercise. So, you know, cross your fingers as I share my screen that the technology works. Thank you, please. All right, cool. Are we all seeing this right here? Yes, I see thumbs up. Cool. So we have this photo here of Lucille Clifton. Can one of my teacher friends read her biography for us?
Lucille Clifton. Lucille Clifton, 1936 to 2010, was an award was an award-winning writer and educator born and raised in Depew, New York. She published over 10 books of poetry, over 20 children's books, and a memoir. Her inspirations included current events, her own family history, Black activists and political leaders, and the lives of Black women. She once said, "I would like to be seen as a woman whose roots go back to Africa, who tried to honor being human. My inclination is to try to help."
Boom, boom, boom. And thank you so much. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at a poem by Lucille Clifton. So I wanted to share a little bit about her. And yeah, I really love, you know, part of her mission summed up in that last quote is her inclination. That's a word that's like, kind of what you tend to like to do, what you tend to want to do is to try to help. And she did that through her poetry. Beautiful. And also one of our inspirations behind this exercise is Ntozake Shange. Could I have a different teacher friend read her biography for us?
I can do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was trying to make sure I wasn't taking up too much airtime.
Gosh,
But I
me too.
all right, I'll go. Ntozake Shange. Did I say that right, Miss Tiara?
Sure did.
Awesome. 1948 to 2018, was an award-winning writer, performer, director, and educator born in Trenton, New Jersey, and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. She published 6 novels, 3 essay collections, 19 books of poetry, 5 children's books, a memoir, and 15 plays. Wow. She created a new genre of play called a choreo poem, a mix of dance, drama, poetry, and music. Her inspirations included love, Black art, movements for social justice, and the struggle of Black women for equality, dignity, and respect.
Thank you so much. So I'm excited that all together we get to do this fun activity that's inspired by these two, creators in history who imagined change, used their art for change. And yeah, that we just get to have fun. So let's keep going with it. All right, so this is the poem we're going to be working with today. It's by Lucille Clifton. It's called Whose Side Are You On? I'll go ahead and give it a first read. And folks at home, I know that you have your papers if you want to either follow along on the screen or with the text that you have. Whose side are you on? The side of the bus stop woman trying to drag her bag up the front steps before the doors clang shut. I am on her side. I give her exact change. And him, the old man hanging by one strap, his work hand folded shut as the bus doors, I am on his side. When he needs to leave, I ring the bell. I am on their side, riding the late bus into the same someplace. I am on the dark side, always, the side of my daughters, the side of my tired sons. Thank you, Lucille Clifton. So let's take a moment, and we just read that. Let's talk about the who, what, when, where, why of this. So actually, I'll start with where. Kind of where does this poem mostly take place? And, teacher friends, you can raise your hand. I'll know to call on you. Oh, yeah, Miss Melissa.
Bus?
Yeah, it is mostly on a bus. Like I would say not a school bus, but like a public transit bus that anybody with some fare could get onto or off. Great. So that's the where. And who is in this poem? Miss Anna.
The people in this poem are people who are riding the bus, and oftentimes folks who use public transportation don't necessarily have cars or drive themselves. So these are probably commuting people who are going to and from work. And I hear a lot of emotions in this poem too, which we can get into later, and a lot of states of being, which are not emotions, but about being tired or having muscle aches or things. There's some states of being in the poem too.
Thank you. I love that with the who you get, you were identifying, okay, it looks like different people on the bus or who ride the bus, thinking about, what they may do. I'm someone who rides the bus, at least when it's not COVID. And then also, yeah, what, are there clues in the poem to how they may be feeling? So we got a where, we got a who. And I'm gonna say when. Are there any time clues about when parts of this poem take place? Any words about time? Miss Madison.
I don't know, nothing specific, but there's a sense of lateness. And so maybe either like early in the day, and with that kind of work commuting theme, maybe early in the day or late at night.
Yeah, and there's actually evidence in the poem to support some of what you're saying. Can someone maybe help out in the second half or like the last third of the poem? What's a line about when it takes place? Mr. Bryant.
It says, just had it here. Riding the late bus into the same someplace.
Exactly right. Perfect. Yeah, the late bus. So that's probably, if we're thinking of adults riding the bus, maybe it's late after work in the evening after a day. of whatever they need to do that day. So we got our who, when, where. Let's talk about what. Kind of what does it feel like this poem is about? Miss Anna.
This poem reminds me of taking care of each other, and kind of like what we talk about in our lessons about being an ensemble, as that we work together. So I feel that this poem is about taking the side of the people that need your support when they most need it.
Absolutely. And with that, I want to make sure with our who, we talked about different people riding the bus. And there's a speaker in the poem. There's someone who speaks from the I perspective. And are they on the bus too with these other people, or are they separate? Just like watching from the street. What do my teacher friends think? And why do you think? Whatever your opinion is. Yes, Miss Melissa.
Because the person says that they give them exact change and they ring the bell, I think they're on the bus with them, helping from the bus.
Yeah, absolutely. So also, so the speaker is someone on the bus helping folks. And and why? Why do you think that Lucille Clifton may have written this? What might her purpose have been? What might her message have been? Go ahead, Miss Madison.
Shot in the dark. What I got from it was that a lot of art is about like people that are really fancy and kind of highfalutin, for lack of a better word, and kind of in, higher parts of culture. Maybe they have a lot of money, and this is her saying like, my art is not about those people. My art is about like real people who go to work and struggle and, are my family, the side of my daughter, the side of my, like, she's here for the real stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Brian, you want to add on that?
Yeah, I do. Once I figure out the mute button, huh? I want to just circle back to what Miss Madison and Miss Melissa said as far as the who and the what. I feel as if it represents. For me, I guess I should say, it feels as if she is there, but she's also representing because it says the side of the son, side of the daughter. So it not just represents that she's there; she represents all of the people that are there as well.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, definitely. Oh, go ahead, Miss Anna.
You should finish your thought first.
Oh, I believe I was going to say that, yeah, you know what, I think Lucille Clifton did have children, but I don't think she means like her literal daughters and her literal sons are the only ones on the bus. I think there's something about a feeling of family and community with other people, that she's on the bus with, for sure. And that they're working people, and and they, she wants to write a poem about them and not only about, a king or a queen or someone with a lot of status necessarily.
And
Anna.
thank you. Circling back to the theme in the poem, which is whose side are you on? The idea of taking sides is very familiar to all ages, right? Whose side are you on? I'm on my side. I'm on your side. I'm on, if you're in a fight with your brother or your cousin or someone in your family, whose side are you on? So there is a sense of a bigger conflict in this poem, right? So the idea of whose side are you on, I think Lucille Clifton is talking about being on the side of people that are a part of her larger community, that she is choosing the side of people that are being marginalized or being harmed by certain power structures or by certain humans in these situations. And I think she's kind of using the bus as an example of a small, one of my favorite things about writing buses and BART and all those kinds of things is that you gather together a lot of different kinds of people. And it's kind of an interesting metaphor, which is a great word that we use when we're talking about poems, to use a bus as an example of whose side we're on in the bigger picture too. So she is taking the side of someone who needs help dragging their bag. She is on the side of someone who needs exact change. She is on the side of someone who maybe can't reach the bell at the right time for their stop, and she sees them struggling. She is on, and how that reflects on future generations. So I see what Miss Tierra was saying about not her literal sons and her literal daughters, but the future generations, kind of like what we were saying when we did our check-in, that we are making those positive changes so that so that you all watching this video get to inherit those changes and continue to make positive changes. That was a rant.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's, now that we've talked about it, let's make some art on top of her art. Cool. So the way that we're gonna do this, folks who've been with QSP for a while know this word tableau. If it's new to you or you want a reminder, a tableau is like a still picture that you make with your body. Cool. And so I'm gonna go through this poem again, and after certain lines, I'm gonna clap. And then you at home and my teacher friends, you can make a tableau that somehow represents the poem, represents that image that we just had. What's beautiful is this is theater. There is no wrong answer at all. It's just what comes out of you, what you want to express. And that's how we will make our choreo poem. We'll be making, we're performing this poem, but we're also making kind of a dance out of it based on based on our tableaus. All right, make sense? Cool. All right. Okay, get ready. You don't know when I'm gonna clap. Whose side are you on? The side of the bus stop woman trying to drag her bag up the front steps before the doors clang shut. I am on her side. I give her exact change. And him, the old man hanging by one strap, his work hand folded shut as the bus doors. I am on his side. When he needs to leave, I ring the bell. I am on their side, riding the late bus into the same someplace. I am on the dark side always. The side of my daughters. The side of my tired sons. And shake it out. Beautiful work, everyone. And friends at home, I'm sure whatever you created that came out of you that was authentic was beautiful too. And I'm looking at the time, so I'm curious if some teacher friends may need to go. I can stay to share a little bit about what we're going to be doing for our in-person lesson for anybody who's down to join us. Miss Anna, what do you think?
I think Miss Melissa, Mr. Brian, you can bounce if you need to, but if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to. For those at home, they're teaching a different class for QSP, so it's not a big deal. They love us, they love the lesson, they love you. They just got to roll because there's more kids who love them and need them too.
Yes, I'm gonna go get ready for my class, but thank you so much, Miss Tierra. I'd never heard this poem before. All of the imagery that came to me was very emotional and beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing it. And we'll see you guys at the live class. Bye.
Bye.
Miss Tierra, I love the title of this poem. Like the second that I heard it, it just pulled me in because it just spoke. I love it. Sorry, I'm not articulate, but it hit me, and then it carried me through. And I appreciate everything that you brought. And yeah, I'm saying thank you. I'm repeating myself, thank you, but thank you, Miss Tierra. And bye, everyone.
Bye, Mr. Brian.
Bye, Mr. Brian, and thank you, Lucille Clifton, who is an ancestor now. We know she's no longer with us, but and happy Women's History Month. Cool. All right, so I think another thing to know for folks, we did this activity with this poem. If you come to our live session, we will get to make another choreo poem out of a different poem, so you'll have a chance to do that. And you're also going to have, let me go ahead. I don't think I need to share my screen anymore. You will have the opportunity to create your own artwork, playwriting, and poetry writing about changes that you imagine. What's important to you? What do you care about? What dreams do you have for the future? And then we're going to have a chance for anything that you make from these different prompts in our activity book we will have a chance to share that, and which is really exciting. I am the most excited to see what you all young people, what's on your mind, what's important to you. And so just to prepare for that, we're gonna do, folks in the room, and you can play along at home, we're gonna do a audience pantomime. So the first thing that we're gonna do, oh, and pantomime, for folks who've been with USB for a while, you may remember what that is, but if you need a refresher, it's new. A pantomime is, it's acting something out without words, so just using your body. Right, tableau is still, pantomime is movement. And first, we're gonna do, like, all of us together, a pantomime of, like, the worst audience member, like the audience member that no one wants to have when they're up there sharing. What does it look like if we were going to be like the extreme exaggerated of not the best audience member? Okay, so let's do that all together on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and bring that to a close. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Let that go. Let that go. And for my teacher friends, could you say something about your pantomime? Could you share about what you did and why?
At the end of my pantomime, I was booing, which is not something that happens a lot. I hope not, but just an extreme version of showing a visibly negative reaction to somebody else's art is not cool.
Yeah, for sure. Again, with that empathy piece, even if it's not your favorite, you can just, anything not positive, you just keep to yourself. Amazing. Miss Anna, what was part of your pantomime?
I took a different kind of negative behavioral route, which is indifference, because like Miss Madison said, an actively negative response is harmful, but also an inactively negative response is harmful. So if you are not paying attention to someone who's sharing or performing, it can make them feel bad. So like Miss Tira said, back to that empathy, right? You want to be the kind of audience member that you would want to perform for.
Absolutely. I also saw, when I was able to see yours a little bit, like being on a device, playing a game or something while someone else is sharing. Like, you all at home probably already know that's not what we do, but my pantomime, I was like reading a little book, and then I also like did some like thumbs down for like, I don't like your art. And we do this funny extreme just as an exercise to like be like, we know that that's not the kind of audience that we're going to be and that we want and that we're going to have when we do our live session. So now, shake that out, shake that out. Let's now do a pantomime of like the audience member that would be like our ideal, like, oh, if we were gonna, maybe if you're feeling nervous to share our art, but we really wanted to, what kind of audience would we want? So we're gonna, pantomime, and you can do this at home with us. What's like the best audience member you could be? Let's do it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and we'll bring that to a close in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Same question. Miss Madison, what was part of your pantomime and why?
I think listening and responding, and then applause as a form of like thanking them for their art.
Absolutely. Yeah, like applause, or this is applause in American Sign Language as well. And sometimes if we're muted, that can work as well. Yeah, that's just a nice thing to do, to be a great audience member. Miss Anna, what about you?
I put my eyes toward what I was watching so that my energy was going toward the art that was happening, so that the artist would know that my support and my energy was with them and supporting them. And I tried to be responsive as well, to be a supportive, responsive audience member by clapping and laughing and paying attention also to the other screens in the Zoom room.
Absolutely right. It's like eyes and attention forward. And I feel like the things that I was doing were a mix of those as well. Yeah. So just trying to, just gently pay attention. If something like resonated with me, if I was like, oh, I really like that part of that person's art, or like I like that part of that poem, like I could nod, I could snap too. I also, if you're on Zoom, there are these like fun buttons that you can also use just to show appreciation, because it can feel really, like I named at the beginning of class, like I felt nervous. It can be nervous to like have the spotlight on you. So we want to be supportive of each other. Cool, cool. So I think that's all for class today. Let's go ahead and do checkout. And that can just be, friends at home and us in the room. How are we feeling right now? And I have to say, I am feeling so much more relaxed and happy than I was at the beginning. Thank you all for your support and for, for having fun with me in class today. That's me. Check, check.
I'll go. I feel happy. I'm just going to keep it simple. I feel happy. Miss Madison, how are you feeling?
I feel motivated and a little sleepy.
Right. We keep it honest.
Motivated for tomorrow, another time.
We keep it honest here. However you're feeling is totally fine. And maybe before we close, Miss Anna, is there anything you want to say about details about our live class?
Yes, indeed. So our live class is Saturday, March 27th at 11 a.m. PST, which means noon for Beatrice. And I always have to do this 11, 1, 2, 11, 12, 1, 2. Great. Abe, 2 p.m. And as always, I will send the Zoom information closer to, so that it doesn't get buried in your grown-ups inboxes. I will also send extra copies of the poem that we worked on today, so that you have, in case whatever, so you have extra copies. And everyone should be close to having their supplies by now, if you don't already. And just enjoy them. Spend time with, you have some really cool stuff in there. I kept one of the things for myself. And just enjoy controversy. So enjoy your supplies. Your boxes are going to be super full now, which is so exciting. They're turning into little drama treasure chests. And I think that's all the details that I have, Miss Tara.
Okay. Well, with that, you all take good care of yourselves. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We will see you in the room, I hope.
Yay, thank you.